Hey you guys, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today is a tea talk, as you can so clearly tell by the title. What are words? And that is going to be on Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. So let's just kind of jump right into it because I have a ton of things to say and I've had a bit of bad luck trying to film and keep myself in focus with the camera. So we're just going to go through it, and third time filming this, you guys. I am a little drawn out. But for those of you who don't know, Crazy Rich Asians follows Rachel Chu as she kind of follows her boyfriend of 2 years, Nicholas Young, to Singapore to help celebrate his best friend getting married. They're going to be there for 2 weeks, I believe. And they're in love and it's great and everything. But the problem is that Nicholas didn't tell her that she is stupid rich, like that he is stupid rich, and that his family is a little finicky when it comes to the kind of girl they envision Nick to end up with. And she, by all means, is not that girl. So, as you can tell, it's a bit satirical on kind of that Asian rich culture, and it should be pretty funny. So, and there's a movie out, which I will be seeing when this video comes out. So, wonderful times. But as for my first thoughts on this, I wasn't sure how to feel about it, honestly. I love the fact that we were getting more Asian rep in literature, and kind of like all Asian rep, it's satirical or not. However, I wish that kind of the first more popular one that hit kind of main screen, like theaters and everything, involved a situation where everyone could relate to the situation and not just like super rich, like that 1% in the world or those who are well off can relate to. But I was still gonna buy it eventually, as you can tell, and read it just to kind of just to support the situation and support like more Asian rep happening out there, because as you guys know, there is very little Asian rep out there. But if you didn't know that, then now you know. So what I did like about the book is that it's very funny. Well, not very funny. It's funny. It's satirical. It does hit on some points that like is prevalent in kind of more Asian culture, which is the classist situation where it's like if you don't have X amount of money, you are going to be looked down on. You're not going to be very well liked in the community. So that was really nice to have read and see kind of like that side of things as someone who has grown up in that kind of like culture. I also really love the characters. I didn't have to worry about them blending into one another. They stood up pretty well on their own, and it was very easy to pick them out in the crowd and see whose head I was in, considering it was like they were so vastly different but still so vastly spoiled, but still really different. I also really loved the fact that Nick and Rachel's like characters were so complementary, and they just loved each other so much. And I like the fact that Rachel was able to stand on her own after everything that had happened throughout this book, and just decide for herself what she wanted and how, like, whether or not certain aspects of Nick's life would affect how she would see him in the future. And I really like that part. As you can tell, very tired. The plot twists, while they were really sad, I don't know why I'm laughing, their reactions to the plot twists were pretty funny, and it kind of added some more depth in it and kind of depth to the characters and their lives, and show that they're not like very, they're not like picture perfect is what I'm trying to say, essentially. So I like that the plot twists and everything kind of brought that depth to them, and they're not just so shallow and everything. I found myself unable to put the book down once I got into it. Like, I started this book, I think, the Friday of Labor Day weekend, didn't pick it up Saturday, Sunday very much, and then Monday, when I should have been doing stuff, I read the entire book and I loved it. So kind of says a lot about how like fast-paced this book is and how easy it is to get through. So yeah, definitely liked it for that. Now as for things I didn't like the family tree. Now, I'm sure you guys who have read the book or have heard about it from other booktubers or other people who have read it, the family tree does play a big role since they're like all like extended family and like all this fun stuff. But here. Yeah, so it got really confusing, and I was really concerned that I wasn't going to be able to like really understand what was going on because of it. And as I thought so, as I was reading the first like few pages, I found myself not liking the family tree. I referenced it a lot and it just got me more confused. So I ended up chucking it in the bucket and saying fuck it, and kind of just reading the book for as it is, because I'm sure like in certain situations they end up explaining who's related to who eventually. So it wasn't like you never found out, and I just felt that there could have been a better way to have kept the family tree but also explained the situation without needing so many readers to rely on the family tree. because there's just so many characters and it just got so confusing when you had to go back and reference it. So once I stopped referencing it, book flew by really quickly. Now, the other thing that I didn't like was the footnotes. It was reminded me of school, I'm not gonna lie, as someone who has read literature for 4+ years, and footnotes were kind of my best friend. I found that every time like I would look for a footnote, it took me out of the reading. And much like the family tree, I felt there could have been a better way of explaining kind of the situation and what was going on with it, and like what this word meant, what that meant, without having to go through and add a footnote. Because, I mean, like, some of them, they made sense to have footnotes. Like, some of them were, like, historical references and everything. Other ones were just, like, idioms and phrases in the dialect or the language that was there, which I don't remember exactly what it is because it's not Mandarin. They do speak Mandarin, but the language that they were speaking from where they were from is not Mandarin. And it just wasn't working for me. Like, I found myself, like, flipping the page and, like, looking for a footnote before jumping back into the actual reading. And that wasn't a very fun experience, honestly. Then the last thing I didn't like was the point of view. Now, at the beginning of every chapter, we would get, like, the character's name and what's, like, where they are. And that was great, but the problem is that we would start off in, like, Rachel's perspective, and then switch off to a random waitress, and then switch off back to Rachel, and then switch to someone else's, and there wasn't, like, a page, like, a switch or, like, a break between paragraphs, if that makes sense, with, like, an asterisk or some symbol that explained, hey, scene switch, as well as point of view switch. So it was, like, at the beginning, at least, it was very jarring, and I had to go back several times and reread it. And I don't know if that was the whole point, but it just wasn't working for me either. Now, as for my overall thoughts, I definitely enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, aside from the little dings in there. I thought that, like, the Asian rep was really important, as well as, like, the satirical aspect of everything and the classism that was going on in here. But I would recommend it to anyone who wants to go ahead and get into, like, more diverse reading and, like, not so much YA, but more, like, young adult, new adultish, to maybe, like adult reads, because I believe new adult is, like, 18 to 29. Yeah, because young adult is, like, before you hit adult life, and then adult is blah, 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 blah. But, like, definitely would recommend it. Such a good read. Can't wait to see the movie, but I would recommend them to just take the, like, look at the family tree, but don't reference it. And then the footnotes and the point of view switches kind of, like, get on my nerves, and I'm sure they go on everyone else's nerves, so definitely would warn them about that, but overall recommend it. But that is it for my tea talk of this Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. Now, if you guys want more tea talks, I have 2 more planned for this month. I'm very excited for them because I love the book. One of the books I just finished reading and sobbed over. So, yeah, but the books are just great, so I'm excited to get tea talks on that. But if you want me to do, like, say you saw a tea talk, like, or you saw a book that I mentioned in my wrap-up or haul or my TBR that you want me to do a tea talk on, to mention that in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I would love to do a tea talk on something you guys want me to kind of divulge more information on than my usual wrap-ups. But other than that, like these videos if you like them, subscribe. I upload twice a week, hopefully every Saturday and Wednesday, and hopefully we won't have the issue of a focus problem happening. But if it does, you'll be notified if you follow me on social media. All of them are at Bookish Trees and will be linked down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Wednesday with that tea talk. Or not Wednesday, on Saturday with a new video. Bye.